Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I really appreciate it because nobody would hear me if you didn't. Anyway, today I want to talk about our relationship with ourself being the most important relationship. If we can't be comfortable in our own skin, if we can't allow ourselves to feel our feelings, then we won't know who we are, and we won't be able to be intimate with all the potentially wonderful relationships you could have. You could have the grandchildren, you could have the children, you can have the husband who adores you, parents, etc. If you are not loving yourself and accepting yourself, then you can't get nurtured. You can't let that in. So how this relates to the food. Every time we feel a compulsion to pick up, to eat more food, to eat the food that your mind says, I really don't think this is a good idea, but we just can't seem to stop ourselves. When that happens, I would venture to guess that 99% of the time we are running away from something that we need to feel and face. Look at it this way. If you have a child and your child is crying and you just don't want to deal with it, you don't want to be bothered, so you pull out the milk and the cookies and sit the kid down in front of the TV and shut the kid up. So that child will not, they'll be cut off from a part of themselves. In order for them to get to know themselves, they have to be able to feel their feelings and identify their feelings, and not necessarily make an issue out of them, but they do become an issue if we don't allow ourselves to feel them. So, and the biggest issue is that it alienates us from our most wholesome self. You know that Amex commercial about being present in the moment is the biggest gift of all. Well, why is it so eluding to most of us to be able to be present in the moment? Why? Because we keep doing what, in that scenario of the mother sitting the kid down in front of the TV with the milk and cookies, we keep doing that to ourselves because we don't want to feel and face feelings. And sometimes, it's depending upon what kind of background you came from, it could be really, really challenging, because the feelings could be pretty intense. They could be connected to earlier similar things or not, but we learn to, most of us, there was a survey done at Harvard University on healthy families versus dysfunctional families. And what they said, one of the things that they said that is somewhat comforting is that there are about as many healthy families as there are people who make it to the Olympics. So don't feel bad, guys. Most of us are from dysfunctional families to greater or lesser degree. So one of the characteristics of a healthy family is that they allow themselves to express their feelings. The other healthy family member hears their feelings. Nobody gets shamed or blamed. You don't necessarily need to create an identity from the feelings that rise up. They may not be a reflection of your values, your highest self, but it is necessary to feel those feelings. Very often as I said earlier, there's a message in it, there's a gift in it for us. and that is, definitely greater presence in the moment. It's getting to know ourselves and be able to be present with ourselves. I mean, some of the feelings that rise up about things, I don't, feel like I want to create an identity out of that, if it's like feelings of prejudice or whatever, I ideally want to judge people by their soul, by, the essence of their being. But sometimes, because of experiences from the past, other, thoughts and feelings rise up. So I do my best to intervene as quickly as I can when they do. And yeah, so that's essentially my message today. Instead of picking up the food, we need to, sit down and write and see what's going on. Call a friend and ask them to simply listen. Tell them right off the bat, what I want from you, what I would like from you is to please just listen to me. Just be a witness so I could get in touch with whatever it is that's eating at me right now that I want to eat over. And, please don't give me advice or feedback unless you want feedback, but just, be a witness. That's like the ideal in psychology. I've heard, that term, to develop the witness awareness consciousness, the non-judgmental witness awareness consciousness. So that's my prayer for all of us, that we are able more and more to be present with ourselves, to love, to have compassion, to have mercy, all those beautiful qualities that we attribute to the higher power, God, if you so choose to call the higher power. And that's it. And don't forget to call upon that higher power to help you to feel these feelings, because I certainly have had to do that. Takes courage. So thank you again so much for listening to me, you guys.